Welcome. So the makeover of math education, I was reading a couple articles over the weekend, and a couple of them really kind of hit me hard because they were talking about math and education and how a lot of people want to kind of take out our math, math education needs a makeover. And why does every student need to take Algebra 2? Or why does every college need to have such high standards for students in mathematics for them to gain entrance? And I really started thinking because really a lot of the majority of the conversation was going towards, we need to kind of evolve as a society, and really mathematics doesn't need to play as much as an integral part as it previously had. And I started really thinking about that, and how is mathematics in the classroom used today, and then how do we really use it to assess students? And I completely agree with a lot of the points that various authors make in the fact that a lot of people don't use all the mathematics that they learn in class, and a lot of the stumbling blocks or a lot of the filters that we use as mathematics for people to gain farther in high school or even in college is not really rightly so, especially if they're not going to be going into a field of that's going to be using any type of mathematics. But it really started me thinking because a lot of the points they wanted to do is take away the mathematics, or they wouldn't say lower the standards or the rigor, but to me it really did kind of take down as far as a watering down of the mathematics. And being somebody that has gone through a traditional math classroom and then went back into education so I could kind of give back, it really started me to think that I know what previously we've done in education in America hasn't worked. It's not boosting up to us to the top as far as international studies in mathematics. But I don't think that's generally the case of saying we're doing everything wrong and we need to now eliminate higher order mathematics classes for everybody, because I previously talked about the importance of mathematics in everybody's life and the understanding of mathematics, and what you can do in mathematics is going to be able to apply to your everyday life no matter what you're going to plan on doing. And it really kind of concerned me when they said, if somebody wants to be a janitor or wants to do whatever for the rest of their life, something that's not going to deal with mathematics, well, why was that going to stop them? Let's say they wanted to start their own company, right? Or they want to become their own entrepreneur. If they never gain that background because in high school they said, oh, all I want to do is be a bus driver, they're limiting themselves. And I don't think we as educators should ever tell students or allow students that just to be able to limit their future just based on why they're struggling in their mathematics courses. So then it kind of talked to me, and I looked over TED Talks and a lot of things about why students are struggling with mathematics. And one thing really came to me, especially when I looked back into my history, as a math student, that a lot of the way that we teach mathematics is pretty much setting a lot of students up for failures. And a lot of we call is either you get it or you don't. And that is a lot of the school that I went through, where if you didn't get it, you just either had to work harder for it, or you're going to kind of be left behind. And I think that's one thing that's kind of scaring a lot of those students, and that's leaving a lot of those students as that filter of they're not getting behind, or what they're going to do is they're going to try to do whatever extra tutoring programs, spend as much whatever kind of money they need to do to get their final result. And a lot of times they're going to go back and blame the mathematics or how the mathematics was taught for the reason why they can't go and pursue their dreams, because they weren't able to do the math. But I think mathematics, I wouldn't really say as a filter, but I think mathematics as a kind of a high level for all students to achieve is a good thing. And here's my reason why. I don't think every student needs to take calculus. But if you can just imagine if everybody in our society had taken calculus, and everybody in our society understood calculus and understood all of mathematics below that. Can you just imagine how educated our society would just be, and not even so much educated in mathematics, but how much understanding and reasoning people would have in their conversations, even if it being, ballerinas or something that having nothing to do with math. The fact that they have a calculus background, it just amazes me to kind of think about what our society would be like if we had everybody that had that kind of background. Now, I don't think it's necessary to everybody to have a calculus background, but in the least amount, to even have an Algebra 2 background, I don't think it's something that far-fetched. And I think one of the things that we need to do to achieve that is definitely have a makeover in the math classroom. And I think one of the things that they've talked about, the reason that's going to have the biggest impact on students is their math success is their math teacher. And I think as far as math teachers, it's very important for us not to enable students in our class to be able to have that either you get it or you don't, let's move on, and leave students behind. I think one thing we need to be very important is, yes, creativity in the classroom. Yes, we've got to make sure that the mathematics is applicable for the students in their real life. But I think the most important thing about the mathematics that we got to get down to at a really early age is the understanding of the mathematics, why we're doing what we're doing. Because when students don't understand one part, and it doesn't matter how long it takes them for understand it, but once they don't understand, fractions, for instance, you look at their progress through the rest of their mathematical career, and it's constantly going to always be a struggle. So I think as far as moving forward in mathematics and education, it's focusing on the teachers. Focusing on teachers that are qualified and also that want to give back to that mathematics where students are going to be understanding it. Not just a teacher that can do the mathematics and can go back to the classroom and assign more homework and assign students how to do problems, but teachers that are going to go back in there and be able to explain to the students and be able to work with them why they're doing what they're doing and why certain type, why things work within their own classroom model. And I think that's the major important thing, that if we can get students moving up from there, we can get more teachers inside the classroom that have that strong mathematical background and have the background to be able to explain things and not rather just teach as far as here's how you do it yourself. I think we will be able to gain more students with more confidence and more understanding of mathematics. And I don't think we need to take away the standards that we have in mathematics in our education. If anything, we should be raising them. But I think it's very cautious that we just don't raise them just on test scores and having students, do better, or work harder. We got to look at how we're presenting the material to the students and how we're expecting them to achieve. So that's just a little rant by me. Just wanted to kind of talk about it because it is something that I passionately feel about. And through reading through a couple of the articles, it kind of made me think about how I wanted to put my spin on it. So there you go. Thanks for watching.